Why don't we say all the things the 49ers have to be proud of at this point?
Yeah, I love it. I think this is a season up to now they can be extremely proud of. So I'm going to start with this. They had a 3-game losing streak. No one remembers it anymore. Nice. That was a good one.
I caught it.
No one remember. You caught it was a good grab. No one remembers it anymore. But they had the 3-game losing streak, which I can still never really account for, except that number 71 was out. That might have been it. But a lot of teams like the Eagles would have folded.
Yeah.
The Niners didn't fold.
No.
They did what really good teams do. They reinvestigated themselves. They asked what they had done wrong. They clearly took it very seriously, came back and had the best season, really clearly showed they're the best team in the NFC. So they can be proud of that. The cliche, they faced adversity and overcame it.
I love that. They can be proud of the fact that even though they didn't play their best in the past 2 playoff games, they came from behind and won both of them, which is something
Right.
people had pointed out that they hadn't done. They did it.
Right. And we had pointed it out, and they did it.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so I would say another thing they can be proud of is last season it appeared that Purdy was a very good quarterback.
Mhm.
However, they got him because he seemed at a certain point to be an afterthought. Although now, according to Jed, he was never an afterthought. But I don't know how seriously I take that. They, unless something really weird happens on Sunday, they have their franchise quarterback. They didn't go into this season necessarily knowing that. They knew they had a starter, but I don't know if they knew they had a franchise quarterback. And Iggy, I think they do. And that's something they can be really, really proud of.
They can be proud of the fact that they have a franchise quarterback. They can be proud of the fact that they kept him healthy all year. That's something they hadn't done it with quarterbacks in the past. He got hurt. Jimmy got hurt all the time. They kept him upright. They got to do one more game, but so far so good.
You know, that's a very important point because going into the season, I actually predicted he'd get hurt and miss games because that had been the pattern. They kept him not only upright, but healthy. And he also is deft enough on his feet that he kept himself healthy too. So that's something they can breathe a sigh of relief and also be proud of because they made that happen.
One more thing, at least for me, they can be proud of the fact that they may have the best team in the NFL. Like the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. They have a great team, but a lot of it is they have the best quarterback. Niners have an excellent quarterback. They don't have the best quarterback, but they might have the best team outside of the quarterback. In fact, they probably do. And that's something they've probably been able to say that for years. They've had a remarkable level of consistency, and it took them a while to find the right quarterback, but they have. But the rest of their team is really good.
Yeah. They apparently have the best team in the whole league. We're going to actually find out a lot more about that on Sunday. I mean, we'll see. But
we'll see.
Let's say like this, they may have the most talented team.
There you go.
And I think talented at best may be different.
I would agree.
They may be different.
Win it.
Yeah. So talented. Yeah. I think they have the most talented team in the league. They also, I have to say, another thing they can be proud of. They brought in a new defensive coordinator. And aside from various times when he didn't do well, but a lot of them don't do well, he's really been good. I think he's not a charismatic person, but he's a serious, and I would say a deep person. And I like that. They can be very proud of Steve Wilks, and he can be proud of himself.
I like that. Anything else?
Well,
a lot of pride.
Let's talk about the coach. I mean, if you were a 49ers fan, which you and I are not, would you be proud of the head coach?
I would be proud of the head coach. It seems like, I mean, how many coaches are doing a better job than Kyle Shanahan these days? It seems like he represents the organization well. He wins consistently. He has a team that wins with class. I mean, we loved Harbaugh, but his team got in trouble all the time. His players got in trouble.
His players got in trouble all the time. Yeah.
And it seemed like, I don't know if that was a point of emphasis back then, but now it seems like it is. And their players don't get in trouble a lot. They have a team that the community can be proud of. And Kyle sets the tone.
I agree. It harkens back to the teams that Bill Walsh had and that George Seifert had. These people, the players, and we can name Joe, Steve, Jerry, etc., are iconic. And they're iconic because they were great players, but also great members of the community. So in this regard, Kyle and John Lynch, and I suppose Jed, have harkened back to the golden era of, because this is not the golden era yet. They haven't won the game, but to the golden era, the 5 Super Bowl teams where you could be proud of those players.
Certainly. Ninerology, new member, thank you. Jamila13 says, Grant, we need investigative journalism. Sneak into the Chiefs facility and publish their playbook. Well, that'd be the end of my career as a journalist at that point. That's beyond. Lucky Louise says, Lowell said the Ramones should play at halftime. Such a legend. They never use rock bands for the Super Bowls anymore.
I know it's true, but here's the thing. Could I just say something about the Ramones? Their sound from song to song is a little similar. I mean, they got a sound, but I really like them. I like them. And, you know, I think the lead guy, who's a Jewish guy from Queens, they talk about Rockaway Beach. I used to swim at Rockaway Beach. Isn't his name like Rappaport or something? I mean, they weren't all named Ramon.
Well, Joey Ramone's name apparently was Jeffrey Ross Hyman.
Something like that, right? Hyman.
Yeah.
Could have gone to my Hebrew school.
Are they the best Jewish musicians of all time?
Oh, how about Bob Dylan?
I'll take the Ramones.
Really? You take the Ramones over Bob Dylan?
Growing up, and Green Day's main influence was the Ramones.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Martin Camacho says, Papa Cohn, what is scarier, a team who executes well to not fall behind, or a team who can beat adversity and come from behind?
You have to do both.
Have to do both.
A championship team has to do both.
Good answer. Josh says, do either of you have memorable stories in East Palo Alto? Also, shout out to CMC for being the best running back since Jermichael Hasty. You used to live out in Palo Alto?
I never lived in East Palo Alto. You know, I went to Stanford and I lived all around, but I never lived in East Palo Alto. But I had a friend, Mark Moskowitz, who lived in East Palo Alto. And one day he was typing up a paper. He looks out to the window. Someone had reached in his window and stole his TV set and ran away. So, I mean, I'm told that East Palo Alto has really, really come on, but this would have been in like 1966 or 67.
Shouldn't have left his window open.
He shouldn't have left his window open.
That's just the attitude in the Bay Area. Like, my car got broken into a couple months ago, and immediately I was like, well, that's my fault. I should have known better. I know where I live. It's 100% on me, whoever took it.